I wanted to, to end it. I wanted to have peace.
Paz, this is so exciting. Thank you for coming. You're a Jewish guy. You believe in Jesus. Come on, man. You're in Israel. That doesn't happen, right? People call me a fraud, a liar, a deceiver. I'm a Jewish guy. I believe in Jesus. You are too. Living in Israel. How does that work, man?
I think it works well. Jesus was Jewish, so why wouldn't we stay Jewish? Jesus didn't become Christian. He's the whole reason we believe.
Yeah, and Jesus being Jewish connects us to our Jewish roots and actually to the Tanakh or the Old Testament.
Yeah, he's prophesied all over the Tanakh.
He's all over it.
Yeah, and I remember before actually reading the scriptures, just seeing the certain prophecies about the Messiah, and it opens your eyes very widely. You look as if I don't know, a surprise party or something.
It is. What's one of your favorite prophecies that you saw and you went, whoa, it's right there?
Actually, I remember just wanting to open and to see if the prophecy is actually there.
Yeah. And
it was Jeremiah 31, and I remember seeing this, and I was very shocked. It's really written inside my Bible that I got from school.
Yeah, someone the other day asked me, is there any proof of the New Testament from the Old Testament? And we point to Jeremiah 31. For I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not like the covenant that I made with their fathers when I took them by the hand out of Egypt.
Yeah.
Which was the Sinai covenant. I will give you a new covenant.
Yeah. And for me, when I read this, I don't know how other people read this and say no, we're still under this covenant, we have to, and yeah.
So how'd you grow up?
So I basically grew up not very religious. We kept some holidays. You hear about God mostly when people die, bar mitzvah or celebration. But something that really, the place I first heard really about the stories of the Bible was in elementary school. And yeah, it just got me really excited. There even was on VOD some Bible series.
Here in Israel?
Yeah, and it's not that they showed about Jesus, but it really got me excited seeing all these miracles, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
I just believed in God, and I had difficulty with people who didn't believe.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just said, how could you not believe? Of course, I was a little bit afraid because of how the religious Jewish people portrayed God.
Okay.
I was very afraid of God.
Well, how was he portrayed that put fear in you?
If you don't do this, God would strike you down.
Okay.
Yeah, or something. Or if you drop the tefillin, you have to fast or something.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, the tefillin, the phylacteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just got really scared because I said I had to do these things, and sometimes I fail, and you get very nervous because you hear about this place that call similar to purgatory.
Yep.
It's kafakela or something.
Yep.
And you're afraid that you might go either to this place or to hell.
Yeah.
And you only have to hope you go to heaven, hope you're righteous.
Yeah, hope you're good enough to get into to heaven. Wow.
I actually wanted to become an Orthodox Jew.
You did?
Yeah. On my grandfather's side, there are family members who I don't really know, but I know they were from religious background, and his father stopped being religious when he moved to the USSR. He ran away from Poland, and yeah, it was in the USSR they did not allow anything religious.
Right.
And yeah.
So you wanted to become Orthodox.
Yeah.
Jew. What changed?
So I watched a rapper he did a song about the religious hypocrisy. And
sure it wasn't Jesus?
He actually filmed it inside a synagogue, which was very provocative.
Yeah.
And something that really interrupted me inside the synagogue, and especially with religious people, is seeing the pictures of rabbis. So, you know, it says, do not make a graven image.
Yep.
And they ask for from the graven image to help them.
Right.
And, you know, as you see this hypocrisy, you say like, you don't want the God that they have, but also you want God. So they're the only way you know. In high school, I used to like be very afraid of the people who were like religious, and they ask you if you want to put the feeling and everything.
Yeah.
It's not the hypocrisy. As I was watching the rabbinical videos, I still kept watching them about the Messiah, hearing about Gog and Magog, very afraid.
Right.
Eventually, I started, because of this rapper, watching these rabbis.
Okay.
And I saw all of a sudden like a commercial from iGod.
iGod.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like 17 and a half at the time. I just began watching these videos. I was a little bit afraid of these videos, and I said, if I pressed on these videos, why wouldn't I press on these videos?
Right.
So, yeah.
Let's have a seat.
And I began watching the videos, and I heard the name in Hebrew, Yeshu. And then they said, Yeshu? No, Yeshua.
Yeah.
And I began watching the prophecies about the promised Messiah. Slowly, I saw how it came to pass in the New Testament. They showed you, they explained everything. Of course, I checked them to see they're not lying to me. And,
Right.
And then I saw the testimonies. And the testimonies had me also wanting to change the way they change. Many people there.
Yeah, so these testimonies of Jewish people that put their
Yeah.
faith in Jesus and what it did to them.
Yeah, what it did to them really made me, hopeful. And for some reason, I was excited. Like, you watch these videos and you're very happy to see like people are willing to actually sacrifice their lives for the Messiah.
Yeah, that's a great point, because people think, oh, you just want to be part of the Christian crowd, you don't want to be a Jewish anymore. And there's so much sacrifice that goes into being a Jewish follower of Jesus.
Yeah.
You give up a lot, and you actually have to sacrifice a lot of relationships. People that you love suddenly don't want to talk to you anymore. And these things happen and they're real. And so it's not like let's go be Christians. It's so fun, There's a lot of purpose and meaning in it, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Actually, I remember watching one of these testimonies, and I remember hearing like that his father read a Kaddish, something about him, on him, and Kaddish is something you read only when people die. So I remember just, on the one hand, very excited, on the other hand, very nervous to tell my parents.
So what was the moment, that you had with Jesus?
My moment with Jesus was actually, I remember hearing the Sermon on the Mount. And you hear the deeds of the flesh in Galatians, and you say, I'm a horrible person, and it gets you depressed. And when you hear the Sermon on the Mount, especially, you hear Jesus quoting from the Ten Commandments. You're hearing uplifting the standard.
That's right.
And you say, I'm not perfect, I can't do this. And I was a very prideful person. I used to use my knowledge a lot, like as a, communication tool.
Yeah.
And I just saw this, and I saw how sinful I was, and it got me depressed. Got me depressed that I wanted to tell my parents that I believe, but I couldn't. I was so nervous. I was deep in sin. I was so anxious, carrying all this weight.
Right.
Although there wasn't much stuff, I had everything I ever needed. Like, I wasn't lacking anything, but the only thing I really truly was lacking was Jesus. I had everything, but I had nothing.
Wow.
Eventually, everything led me to being very depressed, hearing sad music, and I wanted to, to end it. I wanted to have peace. Um, and eventually, um, there was a moment when I was in the army, and I told my mother and everybody, like the closest family, that I wrote them a letter like on WhatsApp, and they got really nervous. I think only my mother and my sister understood what was going on. I tried to be not suspicious, and inside me I knew I wouldn't do this because I couldn't. I knew God, I have God, I have Jesus. And there was a verse that really helped me remember I was created in God's image. Who am I to kill somebody who created in God's image?
Yeah.
And after I got released from the army, I told my parents, one after another, that I believe in Jesus. My mother said she saw the change and that I believed in Jesus. But she told me that I believed in God, not the way Jewish people believe in God. And after watching all the testimonies in English, I told my father, Dad, I know it's not going to sound very good for you maybe. You might reject me. And I believe that those who they call Yeshu, his name is Yeshua,
Yeah.
and he's the Messiah prophesied in the Bible. And I showed him actually, I think Jeremiah 31 and Isaiah 53. And my father at first, like, he wasn't angry, but he said like, I went to the other side at first.
Yeah.
And the most difficult one was telling my grandfather.
So Paz, where do you think that you would be today if it wasn't for Jesus?
I'd either be at home sitting very scared, with not keeping in contact with friends, seeing no daylight, basically most of the day on computer, or I wouldn't be alive, because living with anxiety is not a great life, especially when you don't have God. God gave me hope. God gave me peace, although I still struggle with the physical symptoms. And God gave me strength, even when I'm weak, because in my weakness, He gets the glory. And yeah,
So good.
it gives me purpose to life.
I know Jesus can do this to people. I've seen it many times. You've seen it many times. There's testimony videos on this channel and all over the internet of Jewish people coming to faith in Jesus and how it completely transformed their life. I'm an anxious person, I'm an insecure person, and He gives me that confidence too. And He gives me the strength that I need when I don't have it. So I'm just so grateful that this happened to you. We talked before the video, and you were telling me about a special talent that you have that I want you to share with the audience. What is that?
I actually beatbox for 6 years now, so yeah, I'll just show you.
Let's do some of that.
Yeah.
That's so good. I know you have more than that in you, don't you?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you, man. And I appreciate you so much sharing your testimony like that and being bold and brave for the kingdom of God and for Jesus. We're Jewish brothers here. We believe in Jesus. If you have a testimony as a Jew that came to faith in Jesus, you want to share it with us, we have our email down in the description. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you like this kind of content, hit the thumbs up button. It helps YouTube push the video out more. Thank you for your support. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
God bless you all. Do a little more beatbox.